there.
Yes. Are all the participants from Mizoram University itself, or they are from outside?
No, no one. All from outside only.
Okay. From colleges or state government institutions?
Out of Mizoram mostly.
Okay, okay.
2 alumni of Mizoram University are there.
Okay.
But now they are serving in BHU, Banaras Hindu University.
Okay, okay. Anyone from state government? I mean, outside also.
And all teachers only. In state government means in our university.
Okay, they are in all in a university system.
College or university system, yes.
Okay,
only teachers.
okay.
Only teachers.
Okay. So the topics more or less will be relevant to all, no?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Rules are actually mostly same.
Yes.
In university, yes.
Yes. Even if there is a slight difference, I think that will be only a small issue.
Yes, yes, yes,
yes. The principle will still be the same.
The same, yes, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
but there may be slight variations among states, state government.
State government and central government, yes, some changes may be there, but broad framework is same.
Yes. So it will be for 1.5 hours, right?
1.5 hours, yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me try to share my screen.
Okay,
whether
that's
it's
good.
coming or not.
Yes.
Is it coming?
Yes, coming with A.
Okay, okay.
Okay, important partner. Matters relating to services of teachers, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Manoj also joined.
Okay. So my voice, is it clear?
Very clear, very clear.
Okay, thank you.
Your voice is always clear.
So since I am not using laptop, I will use a headphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are using what, desktop?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm from office, no?
Okay.
So I'm a little bit old school.
You cannot be older than me, eh?
So I'll try to briefly cover the pay,
Okay.
LTC,
Okay.
leave matters,
Okay.
and career advancement scheme.
Okay. Fine.
So it used to be a little bit difficult to complete within 1.5 hours. But we will see.
Okay.
Good morning.
If you want, we can give you one more session later on.
Yes.
Because these matters are very relevant to all the participants.
Yes.
Usually people are very ignorant about any rules. And when the things get rejected, we face problem why it is happening.
Yes. That's correct. So hopefully, at least it will be an eye-opening session.
Yes.
For a short training program like this, it is not possible to go in depth.
Okay.
And even for the participants, it will not be possible to know all the details.
Okay.
But at least this will give them awareness. Like till now, even now, it's a pay fixation time because of so many new promotions under career advancement scheme. So our teachers are also coming to us, and we have to ask them regarding their options. What is your increment date? Is it 1st January or 1st July?
1st July.
Majority of them did not know.
Don't know. Okay.
Yeah. So at least those very basic things which they are supposed to know. Kumanos.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So happy to see you.
Likewise, I'm very happy to see both of you.
Yeah.
What are the other topics covered in this FIP?
Actually, this is for the new joining. No, earlier we had course. So within first day of promotion, they have to attend one FIP and one refresher course. So this is a general like education, teaching, learning process. About about the law, no, Constitution of India, like this, no, general awareness about the teaching, learning, research environment.
Okay.
Mode of evaluation, examination pattern.
Yes.
This general. This is for the new recruit only.
Yes.
Yeah. So within 1 or 2 minutes, we will join. Just 10 participants are joining now.
Yes, no problem. We can wait a little bit. Let more participants.
Morning time always, 2, 5,
Yeah,
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, sir, I think we can start now. Let them join one by one. Okay, otherwise we have to complete the session also on the time. So, dear participant, good morning each and all. Today morning session, we are going to start with a very important topic that is related to all of us, even including us. Okay, that is our service related matter of the teachers. Day by day, we are need to be apply something. Suddenly, sometimes it was rejected, sometimes approved, and many times we are not aware about the service related matter, which create a lot of problem in our career as well as the with the administration also sometimes. So today's session we are going to take up this, and I am very happy and glad that a very right person is available to discuss this important topic, that is Mr. Malsawmtluanga. He is a assistant registrar administration, dealing from long time about all the university teachers related matters as a administrator. So sir, welcome you in this first morning class in 5th FIP program of HRDC Mizoram University. I welcome you, and on behalf of the HRDC Mizoram University, I pay my sincerely thanks, because as an administrative officer, you are very busy nowadays. Now so many pay fixation and so many work is going on the university. But you realize and understand our request that this is a very important matter to discuss the things which you are dealing with every day within file. So it is a right. This is also one good time you discuss directly with the teacher who are to whom you are dealing in the file. So I welcome you with this brief introduction. Now again I welcome you, and now handing over the session to you for your lecture, sir.
A very good morning to the Professor Manoj Kumar Verma, Professor Bhartendra Singh, the UGC HRDC, and all the participants. as we've already had in the introduction, normally it's not only the new faculties, but even the senior faculties are not knowing basic service matters which they are supposed to know. These create an issue sometimes. So we will try to cover some of the important topics, but it will not be possible to go in depth in all the topics. But anyway, I hope this will be an eye-opening session to give you awareness, what you are supposed to know, what you are supposed to also learn in your service matters. And any questions, clarifications, you can interrupt me anytime. So I would also like to thank the UGC HRDC Mizoram University for associating me for this session. Anyway, without wasting much time, let's start. So in this session, we will try to briefly cover or scratch the skin of pay matters, leave travel concession, leave matters, and the UGC regulations 2018. And if our time permits, we may also try to discuss about the pay fixation and options for pay fixation if time permits us. So first of all, I would like to start with pay, because pay is something due to which we enter our services, although this may not be the main factor, but without pay, without compensation for our service, it will not be possible to work for most of us. So pay is a compensation for your service. And we used to have a central pay commission, and we will discuss pay matrix and the components of salary. So under the central pay commission, generally exercise of pay revision used to be done every 10 years. It's roughly 10 years. The first CPC was constituted, and they worked between 1946-47, second CPC from 1957 to 1959, third CPC from 1970 to 73, likewise, and the sixth CPC 2006 to 2008, and the seventh CPC was during 2014 and 15, and it came into effect from 1st January 2016. So if everything goes smoothly as per expectation, then we may be able to have the 8th CPC also very soon in the next 2 or 3 years. And hopefully the 8th CPC under normal circumstances may come into effect from 1st January 2026 again. So in the 7th Central Pay Commission, there are various new things introduced, and one among them, the main feature of your pay is called the pay matrix. Pay matrix is a matrix with levels of pay arranged in vertical cells as assigned to corresponding existing pay band and AGP. And we have to know that there are slight variation depending upon the services. There is a separate civilian pay matrix, and the armies and those in the defense services is having a separate defense pay matrix. And teachers and other academic staff, normally the library cadre and the sports, physical education and sports cadre are covered under the academic pay matrix. So in order to differentiate from other pay matrix, we used to call the teachers' pay matrix as specifically as academic pay matrix. This is the academic pay matrix under the UGC. So some of you may be from state government, I'm not sure. So I don't know whether you are following the UGC pay scale as it is, but in any case, the principle will still be the same. So this is the academic pay matrix as we see. The first row is what used to be the pay in the 6 CPC before the pay revision. And there used to be a grade pay of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. Those are assistant professor. We used to call them stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Associate professor was 9,000 AGP, academic grade pay. And professor used to be 10,000 academic grade pay. And so the pay matrix in the earlier entry AGP for assistant professor, which used to be 6,000. As we can see, there are columns under 6,000, grade pay 6,000. So it means that the rationalized entry pay for assistant professor have now become 57,700. This will be the entry basic pay without any advanced increment for degrees like PhD, MPhil, MTech, or other master's degree. So in the second year, it will go up to 59,400. So likewise, when you are more senior in your services, and your pay, your basic pay will increase, as we can see in the various cells. And when you are promoted to stage 2, you will come to the columns under which is called grade pay 7,000. Likewise, it continues up to senior professor scale. Let us not waste much time here. This is just to briefly discuss about the academic pay matrix, how it is going. And one important thing to see from this pay matrix is when you reach the maximum of a level. So for teachers, we call academic level 10, 11, 12, 13A, 14, 15. For non-teaching staff and for civilian staff, it is simply, we used to simply say level. But for teachers and other academic staff, we used to specifically say academic level. So there are academic level 10, 11, 12, 13A, 14, and 15. So as we can see in the slide, let us see the academic level 15, which is for senior professor. And we can see that the maximum is 2,24,100. So when someone reaches that pay, there is no more increment to be given, annual increment to be given. So a teacher, when he reaches the maximum of that level, he will stagnate in that scale, in that cell. There is no provision at this stage for giving any stagnation increment, which used to be there in the 5th CPC. This is one important thing to know. But in most cases, at the level of assistant professor and associate professor, it will unlikely reach the maximum of the scale, although it's possible in very rare circumstances. But for most teachers, they will not be reaching the maximum, the stagnation level. Before that, if someone is working properly, doing his job diligently, then he will be promoted under career advancement scheme to a higher academic level. And so hopefully this will not be an issue for you. So this is the pay slip or the pay certificate we use in Mizoram University. It may be different for different institutions. What we are following, maybe it may be different, but more or less the component or the emoluments and the deductions will be similar. So the basic pay will be shown. DA part will be there, transport allowance part will be there, house rent allowance, special duty allowance. Of course, this is for those who are serving in the Northeast. And special compensatory allowance, arrears, depreciation allowance, nursing allowance, uniform allowance. This will not be applicable to teachers. And so most of us, since we are now fresh recruits, it's likely that we will be covered under the new pension scheme. And the tier 1 contribution under the new pension scheme is 10% of your basic pay plus dearness allowance. So please know this. It is not only 10% of your basic pay, but it is 10% of your basic pay plus dearness allowance. So this will be deducted by your institution as a mandatory NPS contribution from your end. So government will also contribute from their end. So what are the components of your emoluments? The first, the main important component is the basic pay. It is the pay drawn in the prescribed level in the pay matrix. It is not required to be calculated now because there is a pay matrix which is already made by government. And this basic pay will increase once in a year. It is not necessarily calendar year. So there are two options. One is 1st January or 1st July, depending upon your date of joining or your date of entry into services. You will be given increment on 1st January or 1st July. So it is always important to remember your date of next increment, on which date you used to get your annual increment, whether it is 1st January or 1st July. Please remember your date of increment. It may change when you are promoted after your promotion, but normally it will be the same for a very long time. So there is no harm in knowing it, and you don't need to learn a new thing here or here and then. So in the 6th CPC, we used to have only one increment date, that is 1st July. But from 7th CPC onwards, we are now having 1st January and 1st July. We don't know what will be the norms in the 8th CPC. It may change again, but for the time being, the date of increment is 1st January or 1st July. But you will not get increment in both of these dates. It will be either of these dates. And please remember the date, whether your increment is January 1st or July 1st. And what will happen if you are taking leave during your date of increment? So under such circumstances, it is important to know that your increment will be withheld until you join back your institution. For example, your date of next increment is, let's say, 1st July, and you are taking some kinds of leave, aunt leave, regular kinds of leave like maternity leave, and you joined only on 1st August. So your increment will be effective on that year from 1st August. But this is not a permanent delay. It will be a temporary, it will be only a temporary delay. So there are many people who used to try to avoid taking leave on their date of increment, which is fine. But if you are compelled to take leave for a very important and genuine reason, it is not something which you should be afraid or you should avoid. So if it is very important and very genuine, don't be afraid of taking leave on your increment date also. But in any case, it's better to avoid as far as possible. But what I mean to say is that it does not permanently affect your service, or it does not permanently affect your pay or your increment date. So now the other important components of your emoluments is DA. In short, we used to call DA. It is dearness allowance. Dear does not have to do anything with love or our loved ones. Dear in this sense means British English meaning to become expensive or at a high cost. So the dearness allowance is calculated on the basis of various consumer prices like pulse, vegetables, milk, fruits, salt, sugar, clothing, or pan. Even pan is included, supari, tobacco, and these things, all these things are included for calculating the what we call All India Consumer Price Index numbers for industrial workers. So the dearness allowance is calculated on the basis of this All India Consumer Price for All India Consumer Price Index for industrial workers. It used to be, it is calculated, or it is taken care of by the Labor Bureau, Ministry of Labor and Employment, Government of India. So the consumer prices is calculated from all over India. It is actually calculated from 88 centers all over India. The increase in the prices or the decrease in the prices is updated, and on the basis of this, the consumer price index number is published, and on the basis of that, the dearness allowance is to increase, and it increases twice in a year, on 1st January and 1st July. So when the percentage increase in the DA is high, normally without thinking much, we used to be happy. But actually, when the DA increase rate is high, it means that the consumer prices are increasing at a high rate. And actually, we might not necessarily gain in our pay from this thing. So the low DA under many circumstances is preferable. It means that the consumer prices which we need on a daily basis are not increasing, or it increases at a small rate. So although we used to be, we normally welcome the high DA, but actually when the increase is lower, it may be more beneficial to us. So the other components of our pay is TA, transport allowance. For level 9 and above, as we say, teachers are all academic level 10 and above. The TA rate is rupees 7,200 plus DA. This is in 19 bigger cities, including the metros. And for other places, it is rupees 3,600 plus DA. And for the physically handicapped or the physically disabled employees, it is double the normal rate. And it is important to know that this transport allowance is not admissible for calendar months wholly covered by leave. So if your leave is from 1st March to 31st March, you will not be given transport allowance. But if you have some control over the days on which you are planning to take leave, the trick is take leave in such a way that it does not cover the whole calendar month. Suppose one teacher is taking leave from 2nd March to 20th April. We know that it is almost 2 months, but transport allowance will not be deducted because it does not cover the entire month. March is not covered, the whole calendar month of March is not covered, as well as the whole calendar month of April is not covered. So although his leave is almost 60 days, transport allowance will not be deducted. But if the same teacher is taking leave, as I say, as an example, from 1st March to 31st March, it's only 31 days, much less than the 2 months, but transport allowance will be deducted. So this is one trick which I'll tell you. And the other components of your emoluments is the house rent allowance. This will be applicable if you are not staying in the quarters of your institution. There are 3 classes of HRA for X, Y, and Z cities. And this classification is on the basis of the population of that city. So class X cities are metro cities. Class Y cities are for cities with population more than 5 lakhs, and for Z class cities are those cities with population more than less than 5 lakhs. So the initial percentage was for X class cities 24% HRA, for Y class cities 16%, and for Z class cities it used to be 8%. But government is already making a rule that whenever the DA, the dearness allowance, crosses 25%, it will increase, as we can see in the slide. So currently we are now in the DA rate, which is about 38%, I think. So since it is more than 25%, our DA rate for X class cities is 27%, for Y 18%, for Z and 9%. So as and when our dearness allowance rate crosses 50%, it will increase again. In my, let me discuss my personal view about this classification on the basis of population, especially taking into account like cities like Aizawl or some other cities in the northeastern region. Specifically, although your cities where you are working might not be populous, it may be less than 5 lakhs, but if it is in a remote location, your house rent allowance can be higher or as much as those in the Y class cities. So house rent allowance on the basis of population, in my personal opinion, is not justified. But anyway, this is the norms we are following till now. It's still the same principle in the 5th CPC and the 6th CPC also. And the other components of our pay is SDA, special duty allowance. This is only applicable when you are serving in the northeastern region and Ladakh. Those who are serving in the plain, most of the plain areas, it is not applicable to them. And the amount is 10% of your basic pay. And this is not admissible for period of leave, training tour beyond full calendar months if employee is outside Northeast region and Ladakh, So earlier in the case of transport allowance, we see that when the leave period is covering the entire months, it has to be deducted. But in this SDA, we see that it is beyond full calendar months. So if someone is taking leave from 1st March to 31st March, SDA should not be deducted because it is just a full calendar month. It is not beyond full calendar month. But in case the leave is from 1st March to 1st April onwards, then SDA is to be deducted from your pay. And so if you are serving in the Northeastern region and Ladakh, this is applicable to you. And so this will not be applicable, as we can see, if your leave or training is beyond full calendar months, and if you are going outside Northeastern region and Ladakh. So you may be on leave, but continue to stay in the Northeast region and Ladakh, it should not be deducted. The other components is the SCA, Special Compensatory Remote Locality Allowance. And this SCA is still admissible as per the 6th CPC rate, along with Special Duty Allowance. And in the 7th CPC, a new allowance called Tough Location Allowance is introduced, which is not admissible with SDA. The existing SCA rate is rupees 2,250. I will not go much deeper into this since this allowance will not be applicable to most of the participants. So regarding pay, is there any queries or clarifications from the participants? Okay. So now you will go to leave travel concession. Leave travel concession is still applicable to central government employees and those central universities, but it may not be extended, or the benefit of this may not be extended by state governments. So it will be different according to your institutions to which you are working. So if you can avail the LTC facility, you should avail sometimes, because you should know that this is a facility which is not enjoyed by most state governments, most private organizations, and we even don't know that even for central government employees and under central universities, how long we will be able to avail this facility. It may no longer be permitted under the 8th CPC or afterwards. So when we can still enjoy it, I think if you have a chance, it's good to avail this leave travel concession. LTC is a facility for government servant and his family members to visit his hometown or any place in India wherein the transportation is paid by government. It's important to know that your cost of stay, your hotel charge, and other expenditures will not be reimbursable, but its coverage is the cost of transportation. Any employee with 1 year of continuous service on the date of journey performed by him or his family is eligible. So you have to complete 1 year of continuous service on the date of journey. Spouse and 2 surviving unmarried children, wholly dependent, irrespective of whether residing with the government server or not, are eligible. So unmarried children, they should be wholly dependent, but it's not necessary that they are residing with you or they are residing with the government servant or not. they are eligible to avail. And the married daughters, divorced or widowed daughters, residing with and wholly dependent. So in this case, married daughters who are divorced or widowed, they have to be wholly dependent as well as residing with them. So parents wholly dependent, irrespective of whether residing with the government servant or not, are eligible. And unmarried minor brothers and unmarried or divorced or widowed sisters residing with and wholly dependent. So these are your dependent family members and other conditions for their eligibility in availing LTC facility. So when you join your service, normally you will be asked to declare your hometown, which is your permanent place of residence in most cases. So your hometown once declared is final, but it can be changed once, only once during your entire service under exceptional circumstances. There are circumstances when a government servant permanently relocated to other places. Normally, those circumstances will be covered under these exceptional cases. So the head of the institution will decide this, whether it should be permitted or not. LTC can be availed during vacation, and vacation is treated as leave for the purpose of LTC. So there are some people who confuse about this, whether they can avail LTC during vacation or not. LTC can be availed during vacation, and it's much more preferable to avail during vacation also, as long as possible, because in this way it will not be your academic work will not be affected. And so if you are availing LTC during vacation, you do not need to avail other kinds of leave. Vacation itself is treated as leave for the purpose of LTC. So it can be availed during childcare leave also. It covers the air or train or the steamer fare. No accommodation expenses are covered. Journey by road is to be performed in vehicles operated by government when available. So you cannot choose on your own to use a private vehicle as long as a government operated vehicle is available. But in cases when such government operated vehicles are not serving the places you want to visit, under such special circumstances, your authority might, excuse me. So your authority might allow you to avail vehicles operated other than by government. So your intended place of visit is to be declared in advance. In any case, if you wanted to change your intended place of visit, as per rules, you have to do so before your date of travel. Employees whose headquarters and hometown are same are not eligible for hometown LTC. And leave salary maximum 10 days at a time, subject to 60 days during your entire service, can be encashed. So leave encashment is not available when your leave balance at credit is less than 30 days. So your earned leave is only 29 days. Then you will not be allowed to encash your leave salary for availing LTC. And advance up to 90% of the estimated fare. can be sanctioned by your organization. And this claim is to be submitted within 1 month from the date of return journey. So please make sure that you immediately submit your fares to your authority without delay. And as per rules, disciplinary action is to be taken for misuse of LTC. This is important. There may be instances when some people try to appear as availing LTC so that they can avail, like let's say, leave salary, encashment of leave salary without actually traveling. So if authority caught you red-handed, then disciplinary action has to be taken. So you have to avail it for its actual purpose for availing LTC. Other important features of LTC are your family members can visit the same place or different places. So some of your family members at the same time can visit Delhi, or some of them can choose to visit Bangalore. So different places can be visited by different family members. It doesn't need to be the same place. So family members can also travel in one or more bases. One team or some family members can travel in February. Some of them can choose to travel in March. There is no problem in that. So family members can also travel in the same calendar year or different calendar years within the same block. So as long as it is within the same 2-year block, then even in the same year, even in different years, family members can avail the facility. So this is the block year under LTC. Previously, the 2014 to 2017 block, 2018 to 2021 block, and we are now in the 2022 to 2025 block, which consists of the years, calendar years, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So please note that the LTC year is calendar year. It is not an academic year. We are now, as we can see, in the 2022 to 2025 block, which covers these 4 years. So the hometown LTC is a 2-year block for travel to hometown for self and family. 2018 to 2021 block, there will be, in this 4-year block, there will be 2 hometown block, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. But we are now in the 2022 to 2025 block. So 2022 and 23 will be 1 hometown block, and 2024 and 2025 will be another hometown block. An LTC to any place in India is admissible in lieu of one of the 2 journeys to hometown for self and family members. There are 2 hometown blocks, as we can see, but instead of this 1 hometown block, you are allowed to visit anywhere in India in lieu of your 1 hometown LTC. So in 2018 and 2019, I have already availed 1 hometown LTC, and 2020 to 2021, I can visit again my hometown for LTC, for availing LTC. But I have also an option to visit other places anywhere in India, including islands like Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, etc., which are covered by India. Anywhere in India can be visited, although there are some rumors that foreign travels may be permitted, and including those of Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bhutan. But at this stage, these places are not yet covered. It is only anywhere in India. So LTC cannot be carried forward. If you are not availing LTC, it will lapse. You cannot avail in the next block. But it is important to know that there is a grace period always. If you are not availing hometown LTC, or if you are eligible LTC All India during the previous block of 2020 and 2021, then you can avail that LTC facility during this year in 2022. But your travel have to be started before 31st December of this year. So that is called a grace period. So LTC to hometown for self every year is admissible by foregoing hometown LTC with family and any place in India LTC with family. So if you are an employee who is not staying in your hometown, you are staying somewhere alone in your workplace, and so instead of availing LTC with your family members, you can choose to go to your hometown every year for yourself only, and your transportation will be paid under this scheme. So if there is no queries in the LTC facilities, next we will go to the important leave rules. Any government employees at some point of time will want to avail some kinds of leave. So it is important to know at least the basic features and the important features of the leave rules. Which are the kinds of leave admissible and how it is credited to your leave account. An important rule regarding leave is that leave cannot be claimed as a matter of right. You may have a leave at credit, in your credit, but it does not mean that you can claim it as a matter of right. Your authority, your leave granting authority may refuse or revoke leave of any kind. But at the same time, it's important to know that they cannot alter the kind of leave due and applied for. Suppose you are applying earned leave for 10 days. Without your permission, they cannot alter it to another kinds of leave, like let's say half-pay leave. I cannot, if I am a leave granting authority, I cannot say that let me grant instead this or that kind of leave. Although I have the power to refuse your leave, but I cannot alter the kind of leave you applied. Conversion of one kind of leave into leave of a different kind is permissible. This can happen in some cases. Suppose you've already availed 10 days earned leave, but this can be converted even after you already availed the leave to another kinds of leave which is available to you, if there are sufficient and good reasons for that. No leave of any kind can be granted for a continuous period exceeding 5 years by your normal leave granting authority. Any kinds of leave which is exceeding 5 years can be granted by the President of India only. An official on leave should not take up any service or employment without prior approval. So please note this. During your period of leave, you are not allowed to take up any service or employment without your authority's approval. As we already stated, that the leave due and admissible can be refused or revoked, but it has to be with justification. Without proper justification, your authorities are not allowed, or it is inappropriate to refuse or revoke your application for leave, or even when you are already availing leave. If there is an appropriate justification for it, they can revoke even when you already avail the leave. Or when you are in the middle of your leave, authority can call you back, but it should be with proper justification. These are the normal kinds of leave which will be admissible to you. The casual leave, special casual leave, and duty leave, study leave, sabbatical leave, earned leave, half-pay leave, and commuted leave, extraordinary leave, and leave not due, maternity leave, paternity leave, and childcare leave. So there are various kinds of leave which are admissible, which will be admissible to you, but there are different purposes for different kinds of leave also. First of all, we'll speak about the casual leave, special casual leave, and duty leave. These are the three kinds of leave which are treated as duty. So when you are taking these three kinds of leave, you are not treated as absent from duty. So someone who is availing casual leave, it's not considered as he is absent from duty in a technical sense. So these are the leave treated as duty, and casual leave is 8 days in an academic year normally, but in various institutions, it may also be followed as calendar year. For non-teaching staff, it is always calendar year, but for academic staff, that is non-vacation, that is for vacation staff, it can also be academic year. And special casual leave is 10 days in an academic year, and your actual days of travel is to be excluded from special casual leave. So it depends upon your institution, whether you are following academic year or calendar year. You are having special casual leave for 10 days. And actually, it is excluded. The days of travel is to be excluded from special casual leave. So you are traveling from Delhi to Bangalore for an academic purpose, and your days of travel will be excluded from a special casual leave. You may avail some days or appropriate days, but it is not appropriate to take like 3 days for travel, which will mean that you may not travel by the shortest route, or authority may feel that you are misusing the special casual leave for that purpose. And duty leave is for 30 days in an academic year. Again, it can be calendar year according to your institution. And casual leave and special casual leave can be combined. Monday and Tuesday, you can take casual leave, and subsequently from Wednesday onwards, you can take special casual leave. But it's important to know that casual leave and special casual leave cannot be combined with any other kinds of leave. So Monday, Tuesday, casual leave, Wednesday, Thursday, duty leave. It's not admissible, it's not permissible. So casual leave and special casual leave can only be combined, but it cannot be combined with any other kinds of leave. And as per the UGC instruction, attending UGC HRDC course is treated as on duty. You are not required to take casual leave, special casual leave, or duty leave for that purpose, if you are following or adopting the UGC instruction. earned leave, half-pay leave, and commuted leave. These are the leave earned by duty. You are earning earned leave at the rate of 1/30th of your actual service, including vacation, plus 1/3 for duties performed during vacation. So when you are on leave, all period of leave, except casual leave, special casual leave, and duty leave, are excluded for computation. If you are taking earned leave for 30 days, that 30 days will be excluded from calculation of your earned leave. You will not earn any leave during that period. Only when you are taking casual leave, special casual leave, and duty leave. Since these leave are not treated as absent from duties, it will still be taken into account for calculating your earned leave. But all other kinds of leave will be exempted or will be left out from calculating your earned leave. And earned leave cannot be accumulated beyond 300 days. Here it is important to know that 300 days is the maximum you can encash when you retire. But in your actual service, plus 15 days will be credited to you. Suppose you already have 300 days, and in this ongoing academic year, you are earning another 10 days. You will be allowed to keep that 10 days, but it is not possible to carry over in the next year. So 300 days only will be allowed to be carried over to the next year, but any other extra days up to a maximum of 15 days will be can be given to you, but that maximum of 15 days will not be carried over to the next year. Half-pay leave. You want 20 days for each completed year of service. If you are joining on 1st March, then in the next February end of February, you will be given 20 days of half-pay leave. And this period of absence or leave does not affect your half-pay leave earned. So whenever you completed 1 year of service, you will be credited with 20 days of half-pay leave. Commuted leave. You can accumulate 240 days during your entire service, and it is granted on medical certificate. Commuted leave is for the purpose of your illness, and the amount due is half the amount of half-pay leave. So commuted leave actually is not, there is no number of days which is credited or debited, but it's calculated from the half-pay leave. So if you are taking, for example, 10 days commuted leave due to your illness, twice that amount will be debited from your half-pay leave. If you are taking commuted leave for 10 days, 20 days half-pay leave will be debited from your leave account. A teacher taking leave on medical certificate will be permitted to return to duty only on production of medical certificate of fitness. So when you are going to avail commuted leave, you will need medical certificate from the authorized doctors who will give you a certificate that at least some such and such dates, many days are required for your recovery. So since it is on medical ground, when you are ready to join back your institution, it's necessary that you have to produce your medical certificate of fitness, that the doctor have to declare you are now fit to join back. Otherwise, you will not be permitted to join back. So there are sometimes questions about whether you can take commuted leave for your spouse illness or your children's illness like that. So commuted leave is only for your illness, for the government servant's illness, for your spouse illness or your children's illness or your dependent family members' illness. Commuted leave will not be permissible. Study leave and sabbatical leave, these are leave for special lines of studies and research. Nowadays, most of the teachers who enter into teaching services, they now have a PhD. But it's still, there are still provisions without PhD. Someone can still enter into services. So for those people, study leave will be important. And study leave is for assistant professor only as per UGC regulations 2018. And it is limited to 5 years during your entire service. And not more than twice during your service, you can take study leave. So it cannot, study leave cannot be granted to you twice in your service. It is limited only to twice during your service. And as per rules, a gap of at least 5 years should be in between 2 spells of study leave. Sabbatical leave is for associate professor and professor. 2 years during your entire service and 1 year at a time. So if you are going to avail while you are assistant professor any special kinds of leave for pursuing further studies, research, postdoctoral fellowship, etc. If you are assistant professor, you can avail study leave. And when you became associate professor or professor, you can avail sabbatical leave. Extraordinary leave and leave not due. Extraordinary leave can be granted when no other leave is admissible. You want to take earned leave or half-pay leave or any other kinds of leave, but that may not cover the number of days you need to take. Under such cases, you can avail extraordinary leave. So normally this leave is granted when no other leave is admissible. It can also be granted when you apply for it in writing. You may still have some kinds of leave admissible to you, like earned leave or any other kinds of leave. You may have some days at your credit, but you can still choose to apply extraordinary leave. It is important to note that, but if you are taking extraordinary leave, it will be without pay and allowances. You will not be given any salary or pay and allowances while you are availing extraordinary leave. So this leave is without pay and allowances. Leave not due, you will hardly be required to take leave not due under normal circumstances. It is borrowing of half-pay leave. So since it is borrowing of a half-pay leave, it is limited to half-pay leave that the teacher is likely to earn subsequently. And it is debited against half-pay leave that the teacher earns subsequently. And maximum of 300 days during your entire service can be given under leave not due. So there can be circumstances when you are not having any leave at your credit. At the same time, you are not willing to go for extraordinary leave because that extraordinary leave which in short we used to call EOL, is without pay and allowances. It may not be an option. This option may not be appropriate for you. Under such circumstances, you can avail leave not due, even when that leave not due is not at your credit, but the half pay leave which you are supposed to earn subsequently will be calculated by your authority, and you can borrow that half pay leave which you are supposed to earn in your services in the future. Maternity leave, paternity leave, and child care leave. Maternity leave is admissible to married or unmarried female employees with less than 2 surviving children. It is 180 days at a time. So a lady teacher is not necessarily to be married. She might not have a husband. She may be unmarried, but as long as she is having less than 2 surviving children, she can avail maternity leave. Paternity leave is admissible to male married employees with less than 2 surviving children. 15 days during wife's confinement. It can be applied up to 15 days before or up to 6 months from the date of delivery. So unlike maternity leave, in order to avail paternity leave, a male employee must be married. There are circumstances when a teacher wishes to avail maternity leave or paternity leave in more than one spell, but this is not permissible. There is no option like, okay, for the time being, I will avail 10 days paternity leave, and next month I will avail the other 5 days. But such options are not available. So when you are availing maternity leave and paternity leave, it has to be in one spell, at one go. Child care leave is available 730 days during an entire service. And this leave is admissible to women employees with minor children for taking care of the 2 eldest children. And it has now also been extended to single male parents, which is unmarried, widower, or divorcee employees. Single male parents are also allowed to apply child care leave. For the first 365 days, you will be given this leave with full salary, 100% of your leave salary. But for the next 365 days, you will be allowed to avail this leave only with 80% of your leave salary. So after availing the first 365 days, in the next phase of 365 days, there will be some effect on some deduction on your leave salary. Minor for the purpose of child care leave is below 18 years of age. So child care leave have to be availed not less than 5 days at a time. For single female government servant, 6 spells in calendar year, and for others, 3 spells. So you cannot avail only 3 days child care leave at a time. It has to be a minimum of 5 days. And for single government female servant, 6 times in a calendar year can be availed. But for others, I mean, for single male parents, it will be only 3 spells. And childcare leave is to be sanctioned as earned leave. So the manner in which it is to be applied and the manner in which it is granted, or other conditions while you are on leave, it will be similar to, or it will be governed as per your earned leave. So if I think we can go ahead to the next topic, which is the UGC Regulations 2018 Annual Career Advancement Scheme. So the UGC Regulations 2018, which we used to call simply for the sake of simplicity, it's actually a University Grants Commission. Minimum qualifications for appointment of teachers and other academic staff in universities and colleges, and other measures for the maintenance of standards in higher education regulations 2018. And this regulations is effective from 18 July 2018, which is the date of notification. And now PhD degree will be mandatory for assistant professor in universities from 1st July 2023. In the original regulations, initially, it was PhD will be mandatory from 1st July 2021. But due to COVID, there are various researchers who are facing issues in getting their PhD degree, and due to other difficulties. So the date has now been pushed back to 2023. But from 1st July 2023, in order to become assistant professor, PhD will be a mandatory qualification in universities only. So in colleges, it will still be the same qualification. Even without PhD degree, assistant professor in colleges will be permissible. And PhD degree is mandatory for appointment and promotion to professor and associate professor under the UGC Regulations 2018. Earlier, even non-PhDs can become associate professor under career advancement scheme. But under the existing UGC Regulations 2018, PhD degree will be mandatory for promotion to professor and associate professor. So for those who are entering into services of teachers without PhD degree, it's important that you complete your PhD degree as soon as possible, at the earliest possible. So there are three academic levels in assistant professor. There are slight variation in college and university teachers, and we will not go into all the details. The UGC Regulations 2018 is available for download in PDF format from the UGC website. So for those who are interested or in knowing the details, it will be appropriate to download yourself. But in any case, since this is your service or career advancement scheme matters, it is very important that you know, you should know what are the mandatory qualifications required for your promotion to academic level 11, academic level 12, and so on. There are many instances when a teacher is not that concerned about his promotion matters, and only came forward at the time of completing 3 or 4 years or 5 years of service. So, but then there will be some criteria which will be difficult to meet in a short time. So when you are new or when you are fresh entrance, it's important that which are the mandatory criteria required for your promotion to stage 2. And if you are already in stage 2, which are the mandatory qualifications required for promotion to stage 3? So it's important to know at the very beginning. So the number of years required for promotion to stage 2, there are 3 years available. So if you are having PhD, you will be required to complete 4 years of service. Then you will be completing the required service years for stage 2. If you have MPhil or PG degree in professional courses such as LLM, MTech, MVSC, MD, then you can be promoted to stage 2 when you complete 5 years of service. And if you are not having any MPhil or PhD, you are which means that you are having only PG degree, then you will be eligible to be promoted to stage 2 when you complete 6 years of service. There are orientation course of 21 days duration on teaching methodology, and this should be completed during the assessment period. You cannot use some orientation course or similar courses which you have done in the earlier assessment period or even before entering your service. So the orientation course of 21 days should be during the assessment period. And there are other courses to be completed, like refresher or research methodology course, or syllabus upgradation workshop, training, teaching, learning, evaluation, technology programs, and faculty development programs of at least 1 week duration. Or in lieu of that, completing 1 MOOC course or development of e-contents in 4 quadrants. So these are the courses to be completed for college teachers for promotion to level 10 to 11. And normally at the entry level, up to stage 2 and stage 3, academic points or API score, academic performance indicator score, will not be required for your promotion. So in most cases, satisfactory or good grade in the annual performance assessment reports will be sufficient. But this does not mean that you are not supposed to pursue such kinds of activities which gives you academic and research score. It's still very important, and this will become mandatory at the higher stage of your promotion. So you will still be, it is highly recommended that you still pursue such kinds of academic activities for your academic and research score. So from academic level 11 to academic level 12, 5 years of service. In academic level 11, in stage 2 will be required. So the completion of course or program, I'll not go into the details now. This is specifically what is being used by Mizoram University, but it is exactly as per the UGC regulations 2018. We are putting it in this way for easy understanding. And from academic level 12 to academic level 13, that is, it has academic level 13 is associate professor. So 3 years of service in academic level 12 is mandatory. Now, as I've stated already, PhD degree is also a mandatory criteria now for promotion to associate professor. And one confusion which teachers often face is regarding programs or courses to be completed during the assessment period. Like we see here, the faculty development program of at least 2 weeks, 10 days duration is the mandatory criteria for promotion to associate professor. So 2 courses of at least 1 week, which is 5 days duration, is to be completed, but in lieu of every single course program of at least 2 weeks, 10 days duration, completing 2 courses of 1 week, 5 days duration is also permissible. So the courses need not specifically be 10 days duration, but instead of that 10 days duration courses, 2 5 days duration courses will also be permissible. But if the course you attended is only for 4 days, it's not allowed to be counted for any purposes. You cannot add up days. Like you may attend 3 days course, sometimes 4 days course in some cases, and you add it up and it becomes 7 days, and you try to count it as a completed course. But such kinds of addition of less than 5 days duration will not be permissible. So please make sure that the courses you attended is at least 5 days duration, so that this can be considered in your promotion when completing some of the courses or programs. This is for academic level 13 to academic level 14 for associate professor to professor. So even if you are college teachers, and you will be required to have an academic and research score here. So as I stated earlier, although in the earlier promotion, academic and research score may not be made mandatory to you, but since it is mandatory at a later promotion, you should not forget to pursue some activities regarding this respect. So as per the UGC regulations, that your CS application can be submitted within 3 months from the date of your eligibility for promotion. This means there used to be some confusion regarding this 3 months criteria. There are some teachers who feel or who interpret it in such a way that it is mandatory to submit before 3 months of your due date. But that is not the case. Actually, you are not allowed to submit your CS application before 3 months of your due date. So it should be submitted within 3 months. Suppose your date of promotion is 1st December, then 3 months before is from September onwards, from 1st September onwards, September, October, November, it is 3 months. So if your date of promotion is 1st December, let us say, and you can submit only after 1st September onwards. You are not allowed to submit in August. So these 3 months means that period from that 3 months period preceding your date of promotion. And your date of the date of receipt of your application in your office can be significant in some cases. If an application is received after the due date of promotion, the date of receipt in the office is normally treated as your new date of promotion. So let's repeat the earlier example. Your date of eligibility for promotion is 1st December, but you failed to submit on 1st December, and you submit on 15th December. Then that 15th December will be treated as your date of promotion. So it's very important to submit not later than your due date of promotion. Otherwise, your due date of promotion will be affected, and that will also subsequently affect your later promotion. If a teacher applies for promotion and found not eligible, he or she can apply again only after 1 year. So 1 year have to elapse in case you are found not eligible for promotion. So this is important to take into consideration. If you are sure that you are not yet eligible for promotion, it is better not to submit an application. Otherwise, if the screening committee or if your institution found that you are not eligible, then you have to mandatorily wait for 1 more year. But suppose you avoid submitting it immediately and you wait for another 3 months, and you found out that now you are meeting the required criteria for promotion, then you submit after 3 months. So your promotion will be delayed by only by 3 months. So that will be that situation, that scenario will be much more preferable. So those mandatory orientation courses and refresher courses required to be completed should be during the assessment period. I've already stated this one. So that much will be covered in this session. Now it is almost 11:30. In case there are any queries or further clarifications, I think we have around 5 minutes. Let's see.
Thank you, MS, for a very nice and very clear presentation. So far, we have not received any question. So I request the participants, if they are having any question, please put up that. Any question from any member? QMS, one question is coming. Is there any age limit according to UGC for assistant professor? So it is not.
Okay. As per the UGC regulations 2018, it's not only the UGC regulations 2018, but the earlier UGC regulations also. There are no age limit prescribed for assistant professor, not only assistant professor, for associate professor and professor. Also, there are no age limit prescribed because this is mainly a specialized category of employment where in some cases more research experience are preferable. So it may be because of those reasons that UGC is not prescribing any age limit, but at the same time, there are circumstances when it's important to take into account the age of the applicants. Suppose you advertise the post of professor, and you found that he is already, let's say, 63 years of age, only having two more years of service. Although he will still be eligible, but whether appointing such person on permanent basis will make sense. This is something which the institution or the organization has to take into account, considering public interest or the universities or the institution's interest into account. But the question as it is there is no age limit prescribed for any categories of teachers as of now.
QMS, one more question is there from Dr. Sadiq Ahmed.
Okay.
He is putting that now he is attending this FIB program, faculty induction program.
Yes.
What my principal make remark in my attendance register? How he is going to handle the attendance register? This duty leave.
it's a little bit difficult to say what will be the how he will fill up the attendance sheets. But normally, like in Mizoram University, what we will do is that he will inform the head of department or the principal if he is a college teacher. And so it's not necessary that he put present in the attendance sheet, but some remarks like attending UGC HRDC FIP program from this date to such date. Something like that will be good enough in my view.
Yeah, actually, different colleges may be handling it differently. Some may
Yes.
be giving a duty leave kind of thing, or some may be giving just mentioning attending course.
Yes.
Organization wise, it may be little different in handling.
Yes.
One more question is there. That is there any difference between orientation course and faculty induction program? So no, it is going to be same only. Renamed program only. No other question. No other questions. So on behalf of all the participants and on behalf of HRDC MZU, I would like to say thanks to QMS for giving a very informative session on leave rules, pay-related matters, promotion-related matters, and all service-related matters. So thank you, QMS, for giving us a very good information and very good presentation. Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, QMS.
Thank you very much.
Taking your time is very difficult.
And MS, one more thing.
Yes.
2 days back, Manoj's name started with P. Now starting with P. So congratulations to him.
Okay.
2 days back, his promotion is now effective, na Manoj?
Yes.
Yes. So 2 days back he was Dr. Manoj, now he's Professor Manoj.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him.
He deserves it. I think he will be achieving more still because he is working so hard.
Thank you, QMS.
Okay, it's my pleasure to be with you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
dear participant, within 2 minutes, the next resource person will join. So please be here within 2 minutes. QMS, if you want, you can leave it.
Okay.